Thank you very much to Steve from Brandon Books for getting me this far. I also want to say thank you to Maria Kinsella and Paul Daly and to Keelan Ireland, who isn't here, for kind of giving me a lot of advice and a lot of help and that just in the time that I was doing this. And in particular, I want to say thank you to Brian Lenihan and Bertie Ahern and in particular Brian Cowan for giving me the time and space to be able to write the book. And of course, thank you to all of you for being here. It's good to see all of you here, particularly the children. I'm really pleased to see the children here because I think they'll be very useful in the human shield that I might have to construct around myself if the vested interests who are mentioned in the book ever get round to reading it. There's, I know, a lot of stuff in there that would be argued over and that people would disagree with, and there'd be a lot of different discussion about. But I want to focus on one or two things that seem to me to be so obvious and so unarguable and so clear that nobody could ever disagree with them. And one that strikes me is in 2002, the British Journal of Psychiatry published a peer-reviewed scientific study which took two groups of prisoners, and they gave one group, at random they chose one group and gave them vitamin supplements, and the other group they gave dummy placebo fake pills. And they followed the two groups of prisoners after they were released, and the group of prisoners which received the vitamins had a 26% lower reoffending rate. That's absolutely shocking, and it indicates that, you know, something of what's going wrong in some people's lives. And this seems like such a cheap fix that even if the reduction in crime, 26% of reoffending is an awful lot of crime, but even if the reduction was much smaller than that, it wouldn't hardly cost us anything. And even if it didn't happen at all, at least we would have prisoners who had good skin and shiny hair and strong teeth. And that's something we could do within society. One other idea that I have in there that I don't think anybody could ever object to is about organ donation. And there are waiting for kidneys alone in this country, there are 1,400 people on dialysis waiting for a kidney operation. Kidney dialysis is an extremely arduous, difficult, time-consuming, unpleasant thing to have to go through several times a week. The thing that a lot of people don't know is that if you were to walk out of this hotel today and be run over by a bus, hopefully not, but if it were to happen, well, actually I can think of a few bankers that I might give a little bit of assistance to, but if you were to be run over by a bus, there are 17 different people who could benefit from the organs of one person who dies. And so 17 different people could have their lives saved or radically improved from each organ donor.
We'll get the banker's heart.
Pardon?
We'll get the banker's heart.
I think it would reject the bank. But knowing that, I want to do my audience participation piece here. Knowing that, what I want you to do, I want everybody in the room, I will give a bye to people holding children, but I want everybody in the room to raise their left hand like that. I'll tell you what you're raising your left hand for in a minute. And what I want you to do is, I want anybody who would not be willing to be an organ donor to put down their hand. If you want to do that, put down your hand. If you don't, that's okay. And also, I want you to put down your hand if you today have with you, I don't mean at home in your drawer, if today you have with you an organ donor card in your pocket or in your wallet, put down your hand. And we see a couple of hands going down. And what I want you to do is also put down your hand if you do not have a plastic card like a Visa card or an ATM card or a Laser card. If you do not have one of those with you today, put down your hand. And still we have almost all the hands up. And my point for that is and have a look around the room. You can see how many hands. So the people whose hands are up are people who would be donors but don't have cards, but do have bank cards with them. You can put down your hands. And very, very simple is we call in those bankers and we say, you guys owe us big time right now. So let's have a very simple rule. You don't give out any more plastic cards until you ask your customer whether they are willing to be an organ donor or not. The customer can say yes or no. They're not forced to choose in any particular way. It could be done very easily online for people who have online banking. And for the people who say yes, which is almost everybody, they can get a nice little happy face logo on their Visa card, on their laser card. And of course, we know that people are very highly motivated to keep them with them. And if they lose the card, they're very likely to get a replacement very, very quickly. And we can wipe out the problem of the lack of organ donors in the country pretty much instantly. And to give you an idea of just how urgent that is, there was a report on the BBC recently that said that doctors are transplanting organs from people who die in their 80s and also transplanting, for example, lungs from smokers because there's such a desperate need for transplanted organs. So what I want you to do is to actually raise your hand, everybody, again, for one more minute. Raise your left hand like this, and then bring your right hand up like this. And give a round of applause to Eddie, to Kieran Cuff, and also to Eddie Cox.
Eddie needs no intro.